We at Storytel welcome you all to this event, and we thought it would be a very small gathering of people who are inside the industry and who are in the book business. And we are happy that you've been able to find time because there is a World Book Fair also on this time. So thank you so much for being here this evening. So I'll invite Ananth Padmanabhan, who is CEO at HarperCollins. And that one can understand it's a huge responsibility, yeah? So thank you so much, Ananth, being here.
Helena first.
Yeah. And then we have people from our global team. We got Helena Gustafson. She heads audio publishing globally for Storytel. And I would just take those in-between minutes to tell you that we are now live in 15 countries, India being one of them. We've been around here for 1 year now, and we are really growing at a fast rate, yeah? Next one is Rickard Henley. Rickard takes care of entire publishing at Storytel. So that's my panel, and it's going to be a tough task to ask questions to them, but I've been preparing a bit.
I think we've always looked at it, while it came about as a sheer matter of convenience, though it was a technological innovation, going from print to electronic so people can read on a screen or digitally. I think it was a natural byproduct of the fact that people are now not reading just on paper. The device came, and therefore it was easy to offer the book itself to the device so people can read it. We've always looked at publishing being format agnostic. It was and would continue to remain a matter of convenience. So we approach publishing or our author's content.
We now can actually see how people interact with the texts or the story, because we can follow when they stop reading. We can get immediate response from the readers, which is something that publishers haven't gotten before, selling paper books through the bookstore. So this is something that I think can have a very big impact on what we will publish in the future.
Sometimes there's too much of intelligence about what they do and how much they listen, and they drop out at third minute or second minute, or when do they come back or don't come back, and so on and so on. So there is a lot of intelligence out there at the back end. So will this going to change the industry in a really far-reaching way when you know more about the reader? What do you say, Rickard?
Yes, I think we get stuck a lot in talking about formats when we talk about digitalization of the book industry. And I think the biggest thing with digitalization of all media industries is putting the customer in focus. It's us getting to know more about the customer in a lot of different ways. As Helena said, we know when they drop off and so on. In traditional print publishing, we've been kind of happy when we sold the copy, and that's, then we made the deal. But in our business, we know that we need them to actually listen to the end. We need them to finish the book, and we need them to tell about the book, and all of these things also can affect the story in itself. We can really see what types of dramaturgy in the book makes people stop reading or stop listening or stop. So it really alters how we perceive publishing, I would say, and it all comes down to knowing the customer and knowing the customer situation and the context and everything around them. And it's not just about, because before we ask the customer questions, now we can actually see what they are doing and adapt to that, which is a big difference.
Now we move on to the next part, which is celebrating this book in Hindi. And I invite Namita ji first of all. When I introduced her, Namita ji, please. So, as I said earlier, ma'am. She's one of the finest authors, and she's a cultural icon, and she's been known worldwide for creating Jaipur Literature Festival, and which has gone places. Everywhere in the world you can see somebody looking for JLF somewhere, these days. It's a part of the international calendar now, everywhere. From US to Australia, and in between we are in India as well, So in India also it has gone many places. So that's one part. Then I invite Pushpesh ji, and it's such a pleasure to have him here. a man of many talents. Yeah, I introduced earlier that he's a food historian, he's a columnist, he's a Hindi expert, he's more or less an anthropological person who knows just about anything. Yeah, and then we have Satyanand Nirupam with us. Satyanand Nirupam is editorial director at Rajkamal Prakashan, and so thank you, Nirupam, for being here. And the way we have thought of this session is that Nirupam is going to read a certain part of it, and then Namita ji and
We thought we'd turn it around.
yeah.
I'll just say a few words.
Okay, no
Then
problem.
we'll unwrap this.
Okay,
Then the
that's great. Yeah. So I was told the earlier version of it. On phone, I was told the earlier version of it.
we just whispered
Okay.
in the last minute.
Thank you so much for doing that. So I think that also allows me to just sit there now and watch it. Yeah. Thank you so much. Yeah. So it's over to Namita ji.
Helena was talking about the perfect narrator. Here I'd also like to talk about the perfect translator, because all my childhood memories are deeply contained in this book. And then I persuaded my cousin, Pushpesh Pant, to translate it. And only he would know the nuances of that world which we both belong to and which doesn't exist anymore. The mountains don't have those stories anymore. I know many of you here go to the Kumaon Hills. There's one gentleman in the front row who goes there all the time, which is Ananth. But it's changed. So I had the perfect translator. And so that brought the voice back to the book. That's all I wanted to say about the privilege of hearing a book and the privilege of hearing it in your mother tongue, in a language which you may be familiar with, but you may not read as fluently. I mean, I can read a book in English, back to front, front to back, bottom up, anyway, and I read really fast. But in Hindi, it's a slow and frustrating process. So thank you, Nirupam, and thank you, Pushpesh. I think now we are going to show you the beautiful, stunningly beautiful new cover of a book which will be out soon. In English, the book was called Things to Leave Behind. In Hindi, we've called it Rag Pahadi, because it is a name full of resonances which Nirupam and this one will explain.
I think this book tells you about myths, legends, and when you have the National Science Congress, where they tell you what science is and what Modi waves are and what dinosaurs were, you suddenly realize that the Itihas and Puran are part of our shared memory, racial memory. And they don't leave you either. You can't leave them behind. So there are so many things in this. And I think when he reads, we had a tough time asking to select a passage which gives you the flavor of the book. So I think when you were discussing audiobooks, I think this book lends itself absolutely brilliantly to an audiobook, where it starts with something, has a flashback, can remain with a very few characters, but allows you to flashback, flash forward without any dislocation of time, space, etc. I will not take much more time. I enjoyed the book. Not enjoys is not the right word. It's a disturbing book. It is a haunting book, and it will remain with me. This is a book you can't leave behind. And
Over to you.
शिवानी जी का सारा उपन्यास, सारा साहित्य राजकमल से समूह में ही है। मनोहर श्याम जोशी जी की बड़ी राइटिंग जो भी है वो हमारे यहाँ ही है, और हमें बहुत खुशी है कि अब नमिता गोखले जी का जो हिमालयन ट्रायलॉजी है वो अब हमारे पास है हिंदी में। और पहाड़ से जुड़ा लिटरेचर और पहाड़ के लोगों का लिखा हुआ लिटरेचर राजकमल में बहुत ज़्यादा है। अब पहले से जो चली आ रही चीज़ है उसके पीछे क्या सोच रही होगी, मैं जहाँ तक सोचता हूँ मुझे लगता है कि हिंदी भाषी समाज के ज़्यादातर लोग, एक बड़ी आबादी, सबसे बड़ी आबादी समतल मैदान में रहती है, और जो मैदान के लोग होते हैं उनकी दिलचस्पी पहाड़ में बहुत होती है। और मुझे लगता है कि वो सारे लिटरेचर जो पहाड़ के बैकग्राउंड में लिखे गए वो सब हिंदी में बहुत पॉपुलर है। तो हो सकता है कि राजकमल में जो पहाड़ से जुड़े लिटरेचर इतना ज़्यादा पब्लिश्ड हुआ है उसके पीछे यह सोच रही हो। नमिता जी का लेखन अपने आप में एक अलग छाप छोड़े हुए है और हिंदी में इनका काफ़ी कुछ पहले से प्रकाशित है, लोगों में दिलचस्पी है इनके लिखे को लेकर। देखते हैं कि यह ट्रायोलॉजी हिंदी में जब हमारे यहाँ से आ रही है तो यह कितनी दूर तक पहुँचती है और हम लोग काफ़ी उत्साहित हैं इसे लेकर।